Got yourself in a bit of a pickle, not quite sure where to start? It can be tough to try and find that perfect wedding photographer, but lucky for you, you've got me and I'm going to point you in the right direction. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name's Jack Barton and I'm the lady on a mission trying to make your wedding planning as fun and as easy as possible. Along the way, hopefully saving you some time, saving you some money, and most of all, giving you lots of hints and tips to make your lives easier. Having a little bit of advice goes a long way, and I know how difficult it can be. So, first things first, it can be a daunting world out there trying to find any wedding supplier, but photography is obviously really high up on the agenda. You want to make sure that somebody is there to be able to document and capture all of your absolute precious and special moments. Photographers, on average, will get booked up really quickly. Like we're talking not just 1 year, 2 years, and that is how popular they can be. So you need to be on the ball, you need to be ready, eyes on the prize, people. If you've been anywhere in the wedding planning world, you will have definitely come across social media to help you out. And Instagram is definitely the place for you when you are searching for your photographer, because they give you a live portfolio of exactly what work they can achieve, which venues they're familiar with, and hopefully through their stories and things like that, they'll bring you a bit behind the scenes so that you get to know them. People like to buy into people, and that's what you need to do with your photographer. As well as buying into their work, you need to really feel like you have a connection with this person, like you warm to them. They're going to be with you on this big wedding day, and they're going to be with you for the whole day. So you've got to feel a really nice vibe with them and that you are reading off the same hymn sheet. So first thing first, you need to work out your budget, and this can be quite tricky to do. I know it's hard, and I know it's something that you've never, even thought about until this point. You won't know what is normal for a good photographer, but ask around, ask friends and family if they've been married recently. Pick up hints from them, work out who they used, what prices they were quoted, and you'll start to get a feel. Now, let me tell you, photographers are expensive. There is no getting around it. They are expensive, but let's not forget what they are bringing to the party. Mainly, they are going to be documenting this most amazing day, whether it be structured photos that you like, or whether it be the more candid ones, the more natural ones. However you want your day photographed, this person, first of all, is going to be with you for a full day. Possibly a 12-hour day. So that's 12 hours of their time. If you're getting married in a prime date, that is exactly like going on holiday, maybe to Center Parcs or abroad somewhere in a prime date. So you're going to be paying a premium for that, because that one person cannot physically split themselves up to be somewhere else on that day. They will be just with you, and possibly not just solo, possibly with somebody else too. Not only are they with you for the day, but you have to remember that when you've booked them, there will be paperwork that they've done prior to your wedding day. There will possibly be an engagement shoot. There will be time spent prepping ahead of the day. And also, if they don't know your venue, a good photographer will likely go and check that venue out before they arrive, so that they can work out all the best places to take the most amazing photos for you guys. So, think about the work that they're putting in prior to the wedding, on the wedding day, and also after the wedding. Thousands of photos will be taken in this whole day. And all of these photos have got to be looked through, previewed, possibly cropped, edited, things like this. And this takes time. So really appreciate where your money is going to go, okay? Don't just see it as one lump sum for just one day's work, because believe me, photographers do not just work for one day and then that's it, they can put their feet up. So this is what you need to think about when you you're deciding your budget, okay? This is where you need to think about, okay, £1,000, £1,500, £2,000 sounds like an awful lot of money you're playing with, but think about how much your photographer is going to give you. And these are memories that are going to last you a lifetime. Lots of people plummet their efforts into a wedding day, which absolutely you totally should, because it's a once in a lifetime event. But the day will come and go. You need to think about the memories and the things that you can have after your wedding day and the things that you're going to cherish forever. So once you've worked out what sort of budget you're looking at, then you need to start thinking, right, okay, I like this person's work. I've seen this person's work on Instagram. They work locally to me. And that's always a good thing. If they're local to you, then they haven't got big travel times to your venue. So I say local to you, but actually local to your venue is really convenient, because if they've got to spend hours traveling to your venue, then you don't want them getting stuck in traffic the morning of your wedding day. So if they can be ideally located, that makes a whole lot of difference too. However, don't be put off by this. Some photographers will travel and they will stay in a hotel the night before to make sure that they are close by. So once you've decided on the kind of photographer that you like, you'll start to get a realization of the photos that you like, because you will have started to pick this up in looking at their portfolios on social media. If you talk to friends and family, you might have heard their name before. A friend might have had them at their wedding. Ask to look at their photos. Ask how they felt on the day. If you were a guest at the wedding, how did the photographer make you feel? These are all important aspects of hiring a photographer. When you're looking at style of a photographer or their style, be sure to look at things like lighting, the way that pictures are posed. Lots of people nowadays are more than happy to have photos taken that just occur during the day, all the things that you might not necessarily see. You still will get the documented sort of family poses and the bride and groom poses, but lots more people want those natural kind of photos now. But look at the style within that. Ask yourselves, are these heavily filtered photos? What's the light like? Things like that. What are they actually capturing? Do you like what they're capturing? Is there enough of that within their portfolio? This is all really important stuff. But hopefully having a base like Instagram is a great place for you to go and have a good nosy at them. Look at their reviews, look at what other people have said about them, and really see if you can find out if they've worked at that venue that you're going to get married at, because that is important too. It's good for them to be familiar with the venue. Then they know all the best spots to put you in. They know the best places. They know how the lighting works during the day, you know, where the sun comes up, where the sun comes down, all of these kind of things, so that you are making sure that your photographer is going to get the best photos they possibly can of you guys. I think once you've worked out if you like their style, once you've worked out if you like their personality, once you've worked out that they're within your budget, the next thing you need to do, and possibly do quite quickly, is get them to check your date. Because as I say, all great photographers will get booked up really quickly, especially those prime dates in the summer season. So make sure that you're not just constantly looking at one photographer. Don't set your heart too much on just one. My advice would be, see if you can find a couple on the process of elimination of who it is that you like. See if you can find a couple. And then ring them, speak to them, talk to them. It's good to get a vibe with these people. If you're feeling a bit shy, then hide behind a keyboard and just send a message or ping an email and see how quickly they react to that. I'm not saying that everybody should jump on every communication with you guys, but it is important that you have good communication with them. You want them to be on the ball a bit switched on, be ready to, come back. You're going to be their client potentially for the next 24 months in this run up to your big day. So you want to know, if you want to ask them a question, they're going to come back to you. So when you first meet with your photographer, this could possibly be on an engagement shoot when you actually physically meet. So it's a nice time for you guys to get to know one another. I think an engagement shoot is a really positive thing. Sometimes this is included in the price. So definitely take them up on that, because it just gives you some time to get to know them. It'll give you some time to work out, different styles. They'll give you ideas of how to pose to avoid those treble chins that I suffer from so badly. Where to sort of direct yourself, how to hold yourself. They'll give you all of those sort of hints and tips, so you'll be prepped and you'll be one step ahead, ready for the big day. But in this time, really get to know them and make sure that you feel comfortable with them. Ladies, you might potentially be with this person in your wedding getting ready room, and a lot of the time when you're getting ready, you can be running around in your PJs, half scantily clad. You want to feel comfortable with this person, because they will be taking photos of things like that. Do you know what I mean? Not of being semi-naked, but you want them there to capture all of those lovely moments with you guys in the morning. So make sure you are comfortable with their presence. So a lot of people will ask photographers if they can only work for half a day. Now you have to remember, this is not in a photographer's interest to do this, because once that day is gone, so say they work for the first half of the day, they can't work for anybody else the rest of that day. It's too the time has ticked by and they can't get anywhere else in that time. So a lot of the time, half days are slightly frowned upon from a photographer's point of view, because giving up a half day is exactly the same as giving up a whole day for them. Remember, photographers work a whole long day with you guys, so they should be fed, okay? Sometimes people sort of say, oh my goodness, I've got a letter to say that I need to feed the photographer. And I think, rightly so. You can't expect them to be sat squirreled behind the back of your marquee having a little sandwich or something like that. They deserve to be fed properly. Not all photographers will expect to be part of the wedding breakfast, for sure. They possibly don't want to be sitting with guests amongst all of your friends and family, but your caterers should definitely cater for your photographers. You cannot work on an empty stomach properly. So we need to make sure that these photographers, I gave you a bit of a wobble there as I clapped. You need to make sure that these photographers are not famished, that they are feeding themselves properly. We're all guilty of it. We'll take ourselves a little packed lunch and when we're working hard, but we never get to eat it. Whereas if we've made sure we've allocated a proper hot meal for them, then most definitely they are going to, one, massively appreciate that, but two, your caterers will make sure that they sit down and they do eat it, so they're recharged and ready to go, ready for the afternoon or the evening entertainment, because they're going to capture some special moments. So don't forget, second shooters, these guys sometimes come in pairs, and that can be a good thing, because sometimes one can be off with the bride and one can be off with the groom, or groom and groom, bride and bride, however it may be for you guys. And this is a real nice opportunity to capture, like I said earlier in the video, those candid photos that are going on in the morning that nobody usually gets to see. So having a second shooter not only helps first thing in the morning with the preparations, but it also makes sure that you're capturing everything at all times, covering every sort of angle. So a second shooter can be a really good advantage. Another key piece of information to ask your photographer is insurance. Are they insured? One, what happens if they are poorly on the day? I know this has happened to some photographers that I've known, but they have had a backup plan and they have somebody who can step in the breach straight away. So this needs to be just talked about, because the last thing you want to end up happening is not having a photographer turn up on the day. Secondly, insurance for equipment. Now, this happened to my videographer on my wedding day. He was filming our wedding, on video from different angles, and he had 3 cameras set up, and one of the cameras fell in the wind. It was a really windy day, as my guest will tell you. But yeah, really windy day, and one of the cameras he hadn't secured down properly on its tripod, and the wind took it and smashed it. It was an awful scenario. I didn't know anything about it until after the wedding day, bless his heart. But he was insured. His equipment was insured. He had backup because he had different cameras going at the same time. So same with photographers. Make sure that they've got a backup. What happens if their camera suddenly fails, or their memory card suddenly jars, or whatever else jargon goes on with cameras and technical stuff like that. So talk to them about insurance, because you want to make sure that all of these photos that these guys have taken for you are, you know, hot property, aren't they? They need to be looked after. They're precious things that you're going to take care of for the rest of your lives. So you need to make sure that there is insurance on all of the equipment and of your photos. I think as it gets closer to the wedding day, most photographers that I know will definitely ask you for a shot list. So they'll want to know who's who in the world of your wedding and which family members that you particularly want to have photos taken with, and they will have this list with them on the day so that they can call people up. I think this is a good thing. I think it's good to be organised so that they know ahead of the time. And I think it's good for you guys because I think you need to realise that photographers on the day don't just snap away. They've got to coordinate people as well. They've got to master people. And although photographers sometimes come across as very quiet, actually, when they need to, they're quite good at herding guests where they need them to be and getting them where they should be so that you can have your photos taken. As the couple, I think it's really important that you make sure that that list that you've decided on is just so. I think on the day, if you start pulling in other photos that you potentially want, Auntie Mabel, oh yeah, I forgot about her. You've really got to think about this before the day because taking photos takes up quite a chunk of time and your photographer needs to know how much time to allocate for that and whereabouts in the day they're going to do that. They will have their own sort of order of the day through your day and they will work out when these shots are going to be taken, you know, and all this kind of thing. So if we're at the last minute suddenly calling saying, I want a picture with this one, I want a picture with that one, that's not very fair on your photographer. So think wisely before you go ahead and write your list. So hopefully, after all of those hints and tips, you're going to be pointing it in a better direction now. You're going to have undone that pickle a little bit. It always helps when you've got a bit of guidance, when you've got a bit of advice on where to start. And that's what you need, a starting point, and then make those progressions forwards through those steps that I was talking about. And that will lead you and guide you to your perfect photographer for your big wedding day. If you are enjoying any of my videos, then please do hit that subscribe button. Do share with any of your friends that are also wedding planning too. Remember, a little bit of advice can go a long way. And we are coming to you fresh every Monday with a brand new video. Full of lots of helpful things, loads of advice, hints and tips, but most of all, making it fun, making it a journey to remember, and easy on your time and your money too.